right, if you just joined us, it's still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Now let's get to our main conversation for today. It was not a peaceful post-election in Rivers State on Monday as two local council secretariats, those of Ikwere and Eleme, were set ablaze by hoodlums. The incident happened a few hours after the police announced the unsealing of the secretariats of all 23 local government areas. 5 persons are feared to also have been killed.
The attacks on the secretariats of the two local government areas occurred almost simultaneously as what appeared to be sponsored thugs resisted newly elected chairpersons from assuming duty.
Very true, and videos and photos circulating on social media show thick smoke coming out of the Secretariat's buildings. A police spokesperson in Rivers State, the operatives will be redeployed rather, to the council areas if the need arose, even though they had boycotted Saturday's vote.
Meanwhile, Chijoke Ihunwo, the newly inaugurated chairperson of Obiakpo local government area, has ordered that the FCT minister, Wike, name be blotted out of a building in the council secretariat.
Ihonwo, who visited the council secretariat on Monday, ordered that the administrative block hitherto named after Wike be renamed Obi Wali House.
Very true. And the chairperson was at the secretariat about an hour after the Ikwere and Imoha local government secretariats were set ablaze by hoodlums.
Very true. There we have it. And to have our conversation today, we have joining us from Lagos, Nigeria, Barrister Eze Eluchie. Good morning to you, Barrister.
Good morning, Barrister.
Yeah, good morning and thank you for the invite.
Thank you so very much for your time. Right here with us in the studios is also Barrister Van Sofeli, Barrister, Law Public Affairs Analyst. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so very much for your time. All right, so let's get into the conversation. I'd love to start with you, Barrister Eze Eluchie. Please speak to us on what you think is happening in Rivers State. Of course, Nigerians are inundated with everything coming out from that part of the country, but we'd love to have your point of view.
Well, what is going on there is expected. I mean, the level of violence that is manifesting has been expected and long foretold. It started when the members of the House of Assembly, about 27 of them in Rivers State, decamped from the party under which they had gotten they elected into the APC. And the Nigerians had voiced, the reality was that at that time, those 27 men lost their seats in the Rivers State House of Assembly. And their losing their seat doesn't need any court order or whatsoever. The constitution is very, very clear that the moment you decamp from the party that elected you to another party, you lose your seat. So unfortunately, rather than take it up from there, Mr. President Bola Tinubu waded in.
Okay, we're still with you.
Okay, waded in and claimed to have brokered peace. The peace that was brokered was actually the peace of the graveyard. So ever since it was clear that the thunderstorm was brewing in Rivers State, and what we saw manifest yesterday was we had actually arrived at that state when 2 weeks ago, the minister for the FCT, who was the former governor of that state, went back to Rivers State and threatened to burn down or to destroy whosoever tried to challenge his structure. So Mr. Wike was in Rivers State declaring war, that he would burn down whoever, even any other state. He threatened state governors. So what we're seeing manifests, and it's unexpected. It is rather expected, rather. So what Mr. President did by running over to London and declaring that the IG of police should step in was like somebody sets fire on a place. You know the fire will burn, and then when the fire starts, you start shouting fire, fire, fire. And this has exposed several things that Nigerians thought was wrong with the system. One of which is the complicity of the Nigerian police force in violence, in electoral violence, and in rigging. We noticed that in the Rivers State last Saturday, they had elections, and there was the police said they were not going to be involved, and the elections went on fair. So one begins to now wonder what role has the police been playing in previous acts of electoral violence. And Mr. Egbetokun, the IG of police, said he was acting under a court order to withdraw policemen from doing their constitutional role in Rivers State. That was ludicrous. I mean, Nigerians now begin to realize that, look, do we have a Nigerian police, or is this police, which is at Abuja, just at the beck and call of the executive in Abuja? And this is why Nigerians have been clamoring for local government police, state police, even campus police, as obtained in other parts of the world. So, in a nutshell, what happened in Rivers State is expected. And I think if we do not put a lid on it, if we do not stem the tide now, I assure you that more violence will ensue. And I hope it does not actually go to consume the country. But we hope it is stemmed. We hope that reality is allowed to take its course. And that is, in this instance, that the governor of the state, who is the chief law officer of the state, the chief security officer of the state, should be allowed to rule or govern as effectively as he can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much,
Thank
Barrister.
you, Ezendiche. Barrister Evans Sefeli, at this point, listening to the sitting governor of Rivers State, Fubara, yesterday when he was being interviewed, he said he was surprised that he's the only one that had been called or his name had been mentioned by the president. And at this point, we as Nigerians look at it and say, is the president being fair in the way this matter is being handled? Or there's another way of looking at it? And how best could the president handle this issue to restore peace and calm in Rivers State and allow Fubara to do his job?
Well, the president's approach have always been one-sided. Remember the first time he waded into the matter, it was more of ordering Fubara to go and present another budget, go and undo this, go and undo that, go and undo this. So more like an order, you understand? And throughout that peace proceeding was just Fubara. In fact, there was one occasion that Fubara attended in Abuja that one of the government officials ordered him to go and greet Wike. I don't know that you saw that video. I can't remember the face of the person now, but ordered him to go and greet Wike. That Shatima, yeah.
Oh,
The vice president. You understand? So the presidency has taken side. They are doing we and them. That is the reason also that the economy is this way. When you are not able to perform, it's all round. It's one-sided. They are calling Fubara now as if somebody said it's going to put fire in states, different states in Nigeria. Now fire is going up on state in different states. They are calling Fubara. You understand? So this we and them mentality, which is typical of Nigeria. Anywhere you go, we and them, we against them, we against them. We can't move forward with it. If you want to solve the problem, you know what to do. You have a minister that is under your control, who is the one creating the problem in that state. You understand? So call him to order that henceforth peace must be in that state, or it will cost him his job. The condition, it will cost him his job. You should be able to say that. You understand? So Wike should stop going about making problem all over the place, and people will be looking at football as if they want. And let me also say this. The new local government chairman that went and started pulling down or changing Wike's name from block to another, these things are unnecessary. What are you changing it for? People have failed to grow beyond their size. You have just been sworn in. In the swearing ceremony, you were told, instructed that your responsibility is to ensure that you bring government to the grassroots and ensure you entrench peace and tranquility. Then the first thing you do now is just you start to pull down. We do that a lot in this country. I don't know why. It happened also in Imo State when Rochas left, and here Hakim, right? Got he started pulling down
every structure he was erected.
And eventually it was removed too by the court. I don't know why people do that.
But don't you think? But don't you think this is
them?
Yes, but don't you think this is a boomeranging effect? Looking at the way Yeltsin Wike curated the state in its onset. Most of these young people, lads and all those authorities were people who were brought up politically by Wike. So is it fair to say they have learned so well from Wike that of course they are demonstrating all that they have learned thus far?
Well, because even Fubara himself is a follower of Wike now. Yes, so they are just paying him back with his own currency, because he thought that he will be able to, put the structure that is his responsibility to put the structure that will govern River State in infinity. He told us that he bought forms for all the people and all that. He was saying it. That's one that bought forms for everybody. He's one that did this for everybody. In his mind, is going to be the one that will determine where River State go. The only thing Wike have not attempted to do is to determine when River State will sleep and when they wake up and when they will eat. He wants to determine everything from Abuja. Can't work like that. It's unnecessary.
Thank you,
And
Barrister.
then the executive, they are not able to, address the issue.
Sure. Okay, thank you, Barrister Evans. Barrister Luce, let's look at it from this angle. So say that with the new council chairman, Wike's bargaining chip in Rivers is gone. Now, will Wike be able to be relevant, or will he still be relevant enough to keep his job as minister?
Well, thank you very much. Let me just correct an impression that, or some of the statements that said that he's trying to blame the chairman for pulling down what they met on ground. If you understand what happened in River State, the reality was that hoodlums, thugs of Wike, the former local government chairman, resisted the new chairman from coming in. In fact, in the places where these secretaries were burned was the old, the former chairman loyalist of Wike that actually set those place ablaze. So you do not blame the new chairman now when they come in and then they observe that certain structures there shouldn't bear names that they should bear. And that should serve as an example to all incumbent political office holders. You hear that so a president is in office and you have airports being named after him or streets being named after their children. No, let posterity judge you. Not while you're in office, you have such things named. It is obvious that if the next people that come in and they're not in good terms with you, they will remove those names. So that's what has happened to Wike in basically. So with regards to how these new local government chaps are going to coordinate their affairs, the reality is that the democratic process in Nigeria has been a scam all along. I mean, in every state that has local government elections, you see that the party in power wins all the seats, everything. In Imo State, the APC wrote all the results and they won all the 27 local government chairmanship and 305 wards. In Kwara State, the same thing happened in Delta, everywhere. So it's a mess. We have exposed that this is a farce, it's a fraud. And that is what is staring us in the face. There is basically our pretense at democratization is a nullity. It's non-existent. And we even mock ourselves, we deceive ourselves when we keep on describing what we have currently as a democratic election. And this affects even the presidency. Mr. Bola Tinubu knows that he's not there by the will of the people. He knows that the election that brought him into office was a huge mess, a scam, a fraud. So what we are saying that this cancer of fraudulent polls has metastasized across the polity at the state and local government levels. But we're trying to make the best of a bad situation. That's why we're saying the reality for now, the fact is that under the reality that the River State government has conducted elections and that there are new kids on the block, and these are the new chairmen. Let them, they have been sworn in and let them operate. Wike and his thugs should step aside. And the unfortunate thing about all this is that Wike is only being trying to take Tinubu as his role model. Because what's going on in River State, the godfatherism is what Tinubu did in Lagos. When he left office, he implanted his chief of staff and then ensured that that's Fashola, and then also implanted another governor there after Ambode. And when Ambode was not paying or giving the returns that Tinubu expected, Tinubu came out and said bluntly that I'm not going to give him a second ticket.
Allegedly.
So you have Mr. Wike, Nyesom Wike, the minister of FCT, trying to act like Mr. Bola Tinubu has acted. I mean, so when you begin to criticize Wike, let us not joke about this. Let us take the criticism to where it should be placed. And that is at the table of Mr. Bola Tinubu. That is why I tell people, like, this trip Mr. Tinubu did to London, says a walking trip, is nonsense. He knew the fire he lit in River State. He knew the security reports were already there, that the governor on ground will not allow the shenanigans being displayed by Wike to continue. And not only the governor, the people of River State are fed up with this nonsense. So traveling abroad to London and issuing press releases or orders to the IGP to ensure that he goes to is crap. It is crap. Mr. Tinubu is teleguiding the situation. It is his script that is being played out in reverse. It is his main teams. When convince Omuke that is playing out this is reverse. Otherwise, I'll assure you with the facts on ground, no rascal element loyal to Wike can come and start burning properties without being assured of security by even the security agencies. And one of the most ridiculous comments I've heard in all this process is the IG of police, Ebetoku, coming out to say that he's withdrawing his men, the policemen, from obeying their constitutional and statutory responsibility of preventing the breakdown of law and order. No, Mr. Ebetoku does not have such powers. If he does not know what to do as the IGP of police, he should step out of that office. And by the way, his tenure even expired based on his appointment on the 4th of September. All this story of being extended is crap. So we are in a deep mess, and if we don't handle this carefully, let us look back in history. Let us look at the Operation Wet here in the Southwest that crumbled the First Republic. How did it start? It started in the Western region. It started a similar event when the central government tried to impose somebody as the regional premier against the wishes of the people. And the people said no. And that was how the conflagration which consumed our First Republic started. Now it's happening in Rivers State. The people, by whatever means, have put in Mr. Fubara as their governor. And the center is saying, no, we have a former governor who must continue to maintain structures. And the fire has started with 2 or 3 local government secretariats. If we're not careful, if this government is not careful, this will be this will be what will light the already ready environment. And maybe we hope it doesn't go that extent. We hope that the political leaders put on their thinking cap and put a stop to this nonsense in Rivers State.
Thank you so very much. Pastor Vansufeli, please speak to us on this particular matter. Currently, there is a process ongoing right now in Rivers State to recall Yeltsin Wike out of the ministry, of course, as the minister of the FCT. Speak to us on the constitutional provision for that. Then, secondly, on the self-enlightened interest, okay, of Wike on this particular matter, knowing that it is not going in accordance to the way he ever wanted it.
Yeah, I didn't get the first question.
The first question is there is an ongoing process to recall Yeltsin Wike back home. Speak to us on the constitutional provision for that. How does the constitution back that? And if so, how effective can that be? Then secondly, on the self-enlightened interest of Yeltsin Wike in all of this matter.
There's no provision under the constitution to recall a minister. The minister is not elected. The minister is appointed. The only person who can take down Wike is the president.
I thought that you usually before a minister is elected, the state has to contribute such names, have to put forward such names. So which means the state is aware of that.
Nominates,
yes.
But a minister, no member of the executive can be recalled. They are appointees. They are not elected. You can recall has to do with election. The National Assembly, the House of Assembly members, people donated their allegiance to have them there. Those persons who do that can withdraw that allegiance, can withdraw that power, that mandate. And that is what they call the power of recall. Section 110 of the 1999 Constitution for states. Okay? But for a minister who is appointed by the president, you cannot recall a minister. There's no constitutional rule for that because he has no mandate whatsoever. What he has is just the mandate donated to the president, which the president extended to him by virtue of appointments. Okay? So there cannot be any ongoing process of recall of a member of the executive. Okay, the second question borders on the fact that Wike, the way things are turning out
in
Rivers State,
yes,
it's not what he expected.
Exactly.
Yes, that is it, because one person cannot constitute democracy. Democracy has to do with participation. That's why it's called representative government. Okay. So many people have to come together to determine the progress of democracy. Okay.
Mhm.
So, but because, like our virtual guest said, because in Nigeria, when governors are leaving, they implant people and they turn themselves to a behemoth. They begin to determine what the way things will happen, because they are now governors, they are outgoing, they believe they have all the powers of the state. They believe that it is their decision that will determine the flow of the mandate of the people. But that is not the case. He's been told that now, that you cannot do that, because the people did not vote for Wike. They voted for Fubara. And he was the one who went to get Fubara and hand them over to the people of Rivers and say, let's support and vote this man. You understand?
Mm.
Then somewhere by on the line, he turned around and started telling the people that he made a mistake. That mistake will not repeat itself.
Mhm.
That started making all sorts of comments. You understand? Because things are not going his way. I think that it's good things are going this way. We're not practicing monarchy. This is not a monarchical system of government, or where we talk about leadership by inheritance and all that. It's democracy. Democracy has to do with the people. It's just that in Nigeria, everything counts under democracy except the people. But this time around, the people of River State, have shown that they have capacity to deploy and to do even when they said there's an order of court that police should not be deployed and all that, which is nonsense. Let me even say this: no court have the capacity or power to stop the police from carrying out its constitutional function. We have not said this before.
No court has the
Yeah.
power to stop the Nigerian police.
Yes, to carry its constitutional function.
So the work of the Nigerian police oversees
That's what I'm saying. You know why? It is because the constitution is supreme. You understand? And the constitution says in section 1 sub 1 that this constitution is supreme, and its provision shall have a binding force on all persons and authority throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Section 1 subsection 3 says, if any law is inconsistent with this constitution, any law, which means case law, pronouncement, orders of court, if any law is inconsistent with this constitution shall prevail, and that other law, to the extent of its inconsistency, shall be void. So what that means by implication is that a court does not have the capacity to stop the police from carry out its constitutional function of protecting lives and properties, because the court is law itself. It makes law, case laws, and that order by precedent could be case law. So it is wrong for any court to do that. Let's even say that, even though the Attorney General of that state is supposed to intercept that order immediately, go on appeal, bring the motion to stay execution, and keep it at abeyance. That was not done.
Thank you, Barrister Iwansi. Barrister Eze, looking at the current chaos in River State, how well can we come out of this case? Because if we should weigh the pro and the cons for Fubara, it is as though he has little chance. Because we're looking at it, the president is he's not in the good books of the president, and also not in the good book of Fubara. But he is standing just maybe on the mandate of the people. And how well can he thrive and be able to succeed throughout the remaining 3 years or 2.5 years remaining for him?
Well, so long as he is standing with the people, that is what's important. I mean, he's standing with the people of River State, because supposedly those are the people that elected him. He doesn't need to be in the good books of Mr. Bola Tinubu, who is in Abuja. I mean, that is the reality. He does not need to be in the good books of Tinubu. He should focus his attention on making sure that the people of River State are okay. And then it now behoves on the people of River State that if anybody or any institution tries to scuttle their government, their governor, then they should rally around and protect that governor by all means.
Okay,
and I mean by all means.
sorry
Because
to
it has not been
intersect.
established that, yes.
Sorry to intersect.
Okay.
When he was talking yesterday, he was crying out that he is doing a lot of work in River State, but because of the chaos and the problems, the people cannot still or even feel the impact of what he's doing. Now, at this point when this chaos is now getting out of hand, how well can they now even see or even feel or know that, okay, Fubara is working when all this cannot be in control?
Well, the reality is this. I mean, the governor, I mean, he made it, that was a political statement. Because when you move around and watch the kind of reaction from River State across political divides, from the civil society, from the retired generals, from retired public servants, there is a swell of, or there's a grand swell of support for the establishment, for the government. I mean, people are tired of what Wike is doing because to them, Wike is just trying to rewrite history. This was what happened with Odili. Odili did the same. I mean, Amechi did it to Odili. Wike did it to Amechi. And now it's his turn and he's trying to reinvent the wheel. So people of Rivers State are not pleased with him. So the Mr. Fubara should look back, look at the people who are behind him, and it's the state. But the problem is, and that's where what we should be really worrying about. We know that even in Rivers State, Fubara himself knows he didn't win any election. The INEC portal, the INEC, IREV and all that stuff had the fact that it was won by Labour Party. So we're now seeing the manifestation of the electoral fraud. That so Fubara may not feel confident, but people are ready to have forgotten what transpired in the past. And they're saying, okay, you are the governor. By whether by crook or foul means, you are the governor of this state. And we do not want to be enslaved to somebody in Abuja who is not feeling what we are feeling. So we are behind you. So I believe if he really looks backwards, or if he looks back and looks around, the terrible era of Wike is over and belongs to the past. And all Nigerians, all other Nigerians must realize that what is going on in Rivers State can happen in your own state. And I think that is why the governors of the PDP state all came to Rivers State to solidarize with Fubara. Because you know that what is going on there can happen in any of their own states. And we cannot afford or accept dictatorship from the center. Mr. Bola Tinubu thinks that by bringing all the characters he worked with in Lagos, he can make Nigeria what he made of Lagos, virtually owning the entirety of Lagos. And that is impossible in Nigeria. We have over 350 ethnic nationalities in this country. We have diverse regions, diverse schools, and one man cannot pocket Nigeria. He's using Rivers State as a test case. And if he gets away with the mess going on in Rivers State, he who knows what next he will try. It may be Abuja, it may be Bauchi, it may be Delta, or wheresoever. So the cause of Rivers State, let us forget what happened in 2023 elections. It's gone. So we should not adopt this Rivers State issue. We should adopt protection of Fubara as a Nigerian cause. Because the next thing these characters will do, you will now see security reports from this same IGP Ebetoku and the military that there's need for a state of emergency. Nonsense. You cannot create a state of emergency and begin to say that there should be a state of emergency under which you now remove the governor and try to install a wicked stooge. At that point, Nigerians should say enough is enough of this nonsense, and people should gather together and ensure that we protect democracy in Rivers State. Because despite how Fubara came into office, the reality is that he now exudes or exemplifies our democracy, and Nigerians should gather around him and ensure we protect.
All right, beautiful. Thank you so very much, Barrister Vance Valley. Just before we drop our anchor, worst case scenario in all of this, where do you see it turning to?
Well, that's talking about the future.
Yes, exactly.
The presidency have waded into the dispute. The president needs to caution Wike. Yes, that is what he needs to do. Fubara is not fighting Wike. Fubara wants to govern Rivers State. That's exactly what he's doing. Wike, the pressure from Wike have made it look like Fubara is going out there to fight Wike. That's not what is going on. Wike have been making utterances, threatening people to put fire in the country and all that, and to do all sorts. And to say that it does not even have immunity, and is a minister that is showing bad example. I don't know why. That is why, you see, that is why people like Bola Tinubu should never be president. Should never be president. You know why? Because the only thing he understands is politics. He doesn't know anything about governance. If he knows about governance, he will not keep Wike in his cabinet. Because governance is serious business. The optics and the image of a government matters. In politics, you can do anything, fight, throw bottle, put fire. In politics, while politicking is ongoing. But once governance begins, you don't make utterances like that. You don't keep someone with such proclivity in your government.
So at the stance now, do you think he has the capacity to hold him down?
Who?
Bola Ahmed Tinubu, do you think he has had enough or he has enough capacity to control Yeltsin Wike and possibly bring calm?
He has he's the one who appointed him, can remove him. You understand? He's the one that appointed him. So for peace to reign, you can remove him.
All right.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, thank you so very much. I wish that we still run on this, but of course, this is just about the time we have. I'd love to say thank you so very much, Barrister Eluchi. Thank you for your time. We truly do appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barrister Fansufili. Thank you as always.
My pleasure.
All right, that's about the time we have, people. We'd love to say thank you to you for keeping the date with us. We truly do appreciate your time, but please do well to visit us for these and more. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Ikebike.
And I'm Choma Okoye.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.